Okay, Steve, what's your agenda back?
Lord help. Well, I'll stand. We'll have the invocations. Dear God, we just ask that you be with us this evening as we conduct the city's business. Just guide us and help us and let us make the right decisions for our city. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call roll, please. I'm sorry.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Present.
Commissioner Milliken?
Here.
Commissioner Freedman?
Present.
Commissioner Vowell?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Here. Before we get started, I had some things I like to do before we get on with the meeting. She'll step out front, please.
Sure.
You're walking papers.
No, it's not a check either.
Steve, it's been an interesting year.
It's been rocky.
Thank you so much for helping us out. We really appreciate it. And as a token of our appreciation, the City of Fulton has an award that they always give, and it says City of Fulton Award of Appreciation in appreciation of your service to the City of Fulton.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I'm very grateful.
Also, you have been deemed Kentucky Colonel. So when you go back to California, make sure they call you a Colonel, you know, because this is bestowed upon you by the Governor, Stephen Beshear, and is commissioned a Kentucky Colonel. How about that?
Darn.
Put this with it.
That is great.
See, it's all blue.
I can't believe it. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks for inviting me.
Put your plaque on there.
That's so cool.
Grilled Kentucky
Where'd you steal that from?
Where'd you get it?
Yeah, to get it from the governor.
The Governor.
Really? Thanks, Governor.
City Attorney's report.
All I have is just the minutes from the last special call meetings and the last regular meeting on May 29th of the year.
Okay. I would like to add that the police chief came up with that idea and talked to Mr. Bill and all that, and we got Helen and got it all going to get you that honor. But your police
Coolest
chief.
thing I've ever got. I just like
Yeah, that takes some work.
that is, wow. Well, thank you. I mean, I'm shocked.
She's really taken back.
Anyways, thanks.
Okay. Municipal Order 2012-84, approval of the minutes of a special call meeting held on Tuesday, June 19th, 2012. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by David, second by Martha. Any discussion? Call roll, please.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Yes.
Commissioner Milliken?
Yes.
Commissioner Freedman?
Yes.
Commissioner Vowell? Yes. Ms. Wilson?
Yes. Municipal Order 2012-85, approval of the minutes of a special call meeting held on Thursday, June the 7th, 2012. I need a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Bill. I need a second.
Second.
Second by David. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Abstain.
Commissioner Milliken,
Yes.
Commissioner Freedman,
Yes.
Commissioner Vowell. Yes, Mayor Forster.
Yes. Municipal Order 2012-86, approval of the minutes of a special call meeting held on Thursday, May 31st, 2012. This is one of these. I need a motion. What's this? Motion by Martha. I need a second.
Second.
Second by David. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Vaughn,
Abstain that one also.
Commissioner Milliken,
Yes.
Commissioner Freedman,
Yes.
Commissioner Vowell. Yes, Mayor Forster.
Yes. Municipal Order 2012-87. He writes it. That's it. Said he wrote. Came in late, okay. Municipal Order 2012-87, approval of the minutes of a regular session held on Monday, May 29th, 2012. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Motion by Bill, I need a second by Martha. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Vaughn,
Yes.
Commissioner Milliken,
Yes.
Commissioner Freedman,
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn. Yes, Mayor Forster.
Yes. Is that all? Is that all of the Municipal Order 2012-88 to support the concept of outsourcing dispatch to the county. We discussed this a little bit last time as to how we wanted to go with this, and the county is gonna go, is gonna do dispatch, and I think that we might want to get on board.
Absolutely.
And does anybody have anything they want to say about it before I ask for a motion and a second? We don't know what it's going to entail yet, but the city manager will be on top of it, and he's already talked to J L Atwill. And is that correct? Okay. So I need a motion for Municipal Order 2012-88 to support the concept of outsourcing dispatch to the county.
So moved.
Second.
David, Martha, any discussion?
I would just like to ask Cubb, in your discussion, did you see any, at this point, any negative, any downside to it?
There have been some comments and concerns, but nothing that's a deal killer.
Okay.
Things that we can address and take care of.
Any other questions? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Vaughn,
Yes.
Commissioner Milliken.
Yes.
Commissioner Freedman,
Yes.
Commissioner Vowell. Yes, Mayor Forster.
Yes. Discuss animal control proposal. I think you've got one that Steve sent, has two scenarios on it. I don't know what's the best for us to do. Let's talk about it. Has everybody gone over it and checked through it? And
There is. I want to keep our animal shelter
And why do you want to do that, Bob?
because I've seen the animal shelter at Hickman, and ours is far superior and for the welfare of the animals, and to prevent them from being euthanized, we need to keep them in our city.
I would like to see us use our animal shelter, however, I do disagree with Martha as far as the shelter itself, but I would like, I mean, there's no point that if we've built this shelter, we might as well utilize it, I think, and, you know, and so I guess that's, some would agree with you then.
Yeah, kind of.
They euthanize dogs quicker at the county than we do here?
Kirk takes care of them and gets them adopted.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Fulton-
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see
Right
what
now,
you're
well,
saying.
I'll talk about it when I come
Okay, I
up.
see what you're saying, sorry, go ahead.
And, you know, I don't know exactly how we need the animal control officer. Terry might have some ideas about that.
I've been talking with the Cubb, future, depends on what y'all's call is tonight on this, and we do have some ideas, yes.
Okay. I would like for us to control our animals in our city and not leave it up to the county.
So will that entail a part-time animal control officer?
Yes, ma'am, out of the 275,000, y'all gave me back 30,000 to animal control and code enforcement.
Yeah.
And I'm allotted part-time within my personnel cost, and the money's out of that 30,000 to take care of the facility and code enforcement. So, I mean, we just gotta see what direction you really want to go and what you want to do with it.
Okay, so are we saying that the county's gonna not be involved in this, or because we can't, we can't make them?
No.
We can't make them. So,
I would like to ask for part of their animal control money that they have in the county.
I
They
think we've
do
tried
have-
that, haven't we, Steve? Have we tried to get any of their money?
We haven't lately.
Not lately.
Okay, okay. Well,
I
maybe,
mean, we were just kind of holding off to see what we were going to do here.
okay.
But obviously, this proposal doesn't benefit the county at all, and, I mean, I realize it's their obligation to, you know, as we've talked about before, but, you know, I think the county's gonna be hard pressed to get much money from the county.
Would they share?
They probably would, but not with this, not with what we're asking for.
Bubba, do you have any scenario on this?
We budgeted $330 a month, or whatever we've been giving y'all in the past. That's what we put in the budget, because we didn't have anything from y'all to add anything to it. But I think we would continue to pay that toward the animal collection in Fulton, in this end of the county, and I'm not sure what that number is, but it's $300 and something. I think we've been
We didn't
paying.
actually get that last year.
We what now?
We haven't gotten that.
We didn't get that last year, but
You didn't get it last year?
I don't ever remember getting anything
Well,
from
you-
the county for animal control.
Did you request it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you know,
I go back to my
I know that's
scenario.
what you say, yeah.
I would send them a bill every month for that amount.
We can do it.
I can find out what the amount is if you need
Send them
it.
over more.
No, we weren't really doing anything. I mean, that's the whole,
Yeah, right, we never
we
had.
didn't really have.
But I think the offer of the money was in lieu of us having to come to this end of the county and work. We offered that money at some point in one of the negotiations that had happened back in the past. And I think that number was offered as a, you know, as part of our efforts to help take care of this end of the county, since y'all were gonna do it, since the city was gonna do it. And I think that's where the offer came from. But I will guarantee you, if you don't send them a bill for it, nobody will volunteer to pay it. But if you request it, I think you'll see it come.
That's $3,600.
Could we get more?
Ma'am?
If we request
If
more,
you
would that
ask
be
more,
possible?
yeah, I would say ask for whatever you want to, but
Okay.
we'll just have to negotiate that.
We've got to have a better plan in place is the whole thing.
I gotta understand, is everyone kind of clear on how things work and what the county's responsibilities are
County's
versus?
responsibility is to take care of the animals.
They have a responsibility to provide an animal shelter within the county. They also have a responsibility to provide an animal control officer. However, our city ordinances are much, require our animal control officer to pick up strays and such, which the county, the state statutes do not require that. So as far as the housing of the animals, it's pretty much cut and dry. They are responsible for providing a shelter.
Which they are.
And there are standards that they have to follow. You know, anybody who does sheltering of animals has to meet at least the same minimum criteria that are stated there. But as far as if we wanted them to enforce our city ordinances, that they have no obligation to do that. So if we wanted to use their officer, we'd probably have to pay them to do that, but I'm not sure that's the best way to go.
Okay.
I would like to hear more about why the county shelter is inferior to ours. And in terms of not only, and I'm not talking so much about, I'm talking about the operation of it, the expense of it, the food and the cleanliness of it, the day-to-day operation of it. Why are they inferior to ours?
They have no runs, they only stay in small cages.
But the law requires them, does it not, to have runs?
They have an outdoor area, and I think they let them out some during the day, I don't know.
The Hickman Pound
Well-
divided it between two sections. There's a female section and a male section. They're out, go out in the runs where they can't both correspond with each other. They do have that at Hickman Pounds. But they are in small cages through the night or whatever.
And the cats are not separated from the dogs.
Oh, come on.
I mean, they are in separate cages, but
Okay.
they're in the same room.
Okay.
And it's not good for
Right, I
cats
got you.
to be with dogs, they're scared of them.
Our pound looks like the Taj Mahal compared to Hickman.
Well, it should with what was put into it, yeah.
Well, everybody here needs to go down and look at the Hickman pound.
Who,
Kirk, I disagree with you. I mean, I went down there 4 years ago, and I mean, I went unannounced. I picked up Gallagher on a Saturday afternoon, and there was, you know, there was absolutely, it was clean as a pin, that no one knew we were coming. I mean, you know, and maybe it's not up to the level of ours, so maybe I'll agree with you on that point. But I mean, you know, I think we're splitting hairs over the pound itself. I mean, but I, as I stated before, you know, to Martha, I mean, I think that we already have this pound here. If we want to do this, that's fine. But I think we, you know, well, we've snubbed the county once already on this, and here we are now. We're going back begging for cash from them. You know, where they're already providing a service that the county deems appropriate enough, and, you know, if we're not gonna be happy with that service, we're gonna have to find some other way to fund it. That's the way I look at it.
Did you say that they had allocated a certain amount of money for the city of Fulton?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It is in the budget for this following year.
$330 a
I
month.
think it's either 330, whatever the agreed number was in the past.
About $3,500 a year in the past.
We just agreed to go ahead and continue that in the budget because we didn't have a figure to go with because we hadn't been requested. So we just left that money in the budget for the next year, and it is available for our contribution to this end of the county for upkeep for the dogs. Because we don't have to send anybody over here if you take care of it. I mean, that's what.
well, let me ask
In a
another,
nutshell.
I'd like to ask another question. Well, are we assuming that the county, in your discussion, are you assuming that the county cannot provide adequate animal control for our end of the county?
I think they, to get an officer down here in a timely manner, no.
Do we have any data to reflect that? Do we have any experience in that arena? Or is it?
The man that works for the county works part-time, doesn't he?
He's on call at any time. I mean, you may not get the same person every time, but we have a man that's responsible for the dog care, and we follow strictly by the state statute, not only by personnel, but by the kennel itself. The kennel is up to state standards. It may not suit everybody, but it is up to state standards. We are required to do that. So, I mean, just to clear that up, that kennel it's substandard for some people's ideas, but it is not substandard by the state of Kentucky.
It's clean, I've seen it, it's clean when I've done it, just small.
I would just, the last comment I have on this is that, and I hope it's not taken in any way other than the way I mean it, but I would remind us of what the purpose of animal control is. It is to control strays and undesirable animals in our city.
Correct.
That's the purpose of what we're talking about.
Mhm. I think that's why we've got
Today,
That's nice pound
I
out
agree
there.
with you, Bill, but today there are a lot, in this economy, there are a lot of adoptable dogs that are being abandoned that can be fostered out like Kirk does.
Oh, I think it's great what
Oh,
Kirk does. I mean, I think it's
Yeah.
tremendous, and I think if we can afford to do it, I think we do it. But I mean, I don't want to sit up here and act like I'm, you know, we've been fighting this battle for a while, and that's, so I've been on the commission now 4 years, and, you know, it's, exactly, it's the same thing, you know, and, you know, I mean, if we can find another way to fund it, I mean, we're putting money back into the budget for animal control, but Terry, I don't want to offend you, we haven't been doing anything, I mean, we still have an animal issue, we have a bad problem that needs to be, you know, get better, and hopefully that money can, you know, make things better, because we've got dogs running around.
Well, I think you do better once we get somebody handed this way on it.
Exactly, and that's what, you know, my hope is as well.
It's with the police officers, and the concerns are the police officers don't like to do it, I'll be honest with you. They put on these clean uniforms, they're dressed out, and then when they pick up a flea-bitten dog, fleas all over.
I understand.
The next thing, they may go into your nice house to answer a complaint, and they carry this stuff with them. And sometimes the other stuff falls along with them, PCs and stuff like that. And not only that, when officers, along with an inmate during the day, 5 days a week, clean it, and the officer cleans it on Saturday and Sunday. And doing that just kind of, I mean, they have some issues with that. But I do have a plan to Depends on which direction you go. I have volunteers that are willing to help. So I'm waiting till y'all make a decision before we need to go.
Well, it seems a shame that if we have this nice facility, that we we need to utilize it. And if the county's gonna put in a certain amount of money, we need to send a letter down there requesting that amount of money for this facility. And then with what the budget is gonna be, then we can have a part-time officer. And would that not work?
I think that'd work fine.
Good numbers add up.
Yes, sir.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Do we really have an animal problem? Looking at the log that's turned in from the dispatchers each month, year to date, there's been 335 calls concerning animals, such as animal bite, 0, animal complaints, the majority of the calls, cruelty to animals, 0. All in all, it's 1.3% of the calls are for animals. That's 1 per day. And the calls complaining about animals aren't vicious in nature, mange, whatever. It's just, I just gave an animal complaint a while ago, 3 dogs running loose. Does Fulton have a problem with animal control that warrants this much time being spent on it, month after month, year after year?
I guarantee you, no, we've been discussing this for 15 years, but, you know, and it comes back to the same thing. At one point, we took them to Ward Animal Clinic, and that had to, you know.
But what's the problem
I
in
don't
the
know.
county, in the city?
What?
We don't have jobs.
I know.
And I don't know of any dogs or cats that work. So, I mean, we gotta set our priorities and move on. That's all I've got to say.
We've said that for years, Cubb, and I agree with you, but.
We haven't
but
moved on,
obviously
though,
We haven't
Dave.
moved on, I agree.
moved on.
I mean,
We
it
tried-
just keeps coming back to, I
Have we
was gonna say bite
utilized,
us, but that's not what I mean.
have we utilized the county services in the last decade?
Yes,
Yeah.
5 years ago was the last time.
Okay.
And also, you haven't given the thought to a policeman carrying a dog to Hickman to pound it. That's a lot of gasoline back and forth, and it takes an officer away from patrol to carry it to Hickman, and the gasoline costs and coming back.
Isn't it Hickman's, Hickman's supposed to come get the dog, or they're not?
No, we
They
carried
just
them
have to
Hickman.
provide a pound, is that how it works?
We carried them to Hickman at that time.
At that time, you perhaps did. This proposal, this paper indicates that that would not be the case.
So where are we gonna house them till they can come?
And how long is it gonna take them to come? I mean, this never
I agree
ends.
with Mr. Stokes. I think we've got to try some of these ways of solving. Perhaps one is, it's not a huge problem, or it is certainly, I don't see that it's improved by not using the county.
It has improved.
Well, okay.
I know personally it has.
Kirk,
When can I talk?
when can you talk? I don't care, is it okay to Kirk?
Anytime, go ahead.
I really think y'all are, I'm Kirk Vowell, a resident of Fulton, Kentucky. I think y'all are making a mountain out of a molehill here. It's not that big a situation, it's dogs. I mean, so far I'm gonna say this year, 90% of the dogs have been adopted out.
But, yeah, you took care
But
of it.
there's not that many dogs really being picked up. Now, animal control gets involved. There may be more dogs to be picked up, and it might become a bigger issue, I don't know.
But don't you think there are dogs that need to be picked up at this point?
Well, I drive around, I put a bazillion miles on my truck, and I drive around, I don't see that many dogs.
Not anymore, there used to be, but there's not anymore, I
No,
don't
but-
think.
That brown and white dog that they can't catch.
I know where a lot
Okay.
of, okay, I picked up the dog Sunday morning, I know where he lives. He jumps up in my truck, he knows me, and I take him home. And they put him up
Good deal if you did.
for a while. They put him up for a while. But there's numerous situations just like this that I know these dogs. I know where they belong. And I take them home.
I know.
But I just don't see where this issue is a mountain.
Well, tell me.
I'm not gonna be able to do this forever, you know, and I would have to say it's a heartbreaking job, it really is. And it really upsets me sometimes, but when those dogs get adopted out, and a lot of them are going to Chicago, this lady and I have this connection. And a lot of people surrender them, and they call me all the time, well, what happened to my dog? And I call Angela, and I'll say, so-and-so dog, give me the scoop on it, you know, where it went, who got it, you know. And I call these people back and tell them, you know, oh, they're so excited, you know, and happy. And, you know, that part of it is fun.
Sure.
You know, I love that part of it. There's issues here I have because I hate going out to our pound and seeing those poor dogs in there. And I do my darndest to find them a home because I don't want them to be euthanized.
I know you do.
That coonhound, we finally got him a home.
Did you?
Guy's gonna pick it up Wednesday. But it just, you know, I've had friends of mine that put the dogs on Facebook, you know, I call WCMT radio and Martin constantly.
Yeah.
I go every avenue I can to find homes for these dogs.
So what's your solution to this
I'm
problem?
gonna tell you what my solution
Okay,
is.
I want to hear.
The problem is not the dog,
Okay.
it's the dog owner.
I know that.
And you've got to come down on the dog owner. It's similar to, I guess, your pit bull situation here.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna have to come down that hard on just regular little coochies. I've come up with some ideas that, you know, y'all might come up with some more ideas once you hear these. We need to put ads in the Martin, Union City, Fulton paper, radio stations, Fulton, Kentucky News. Anyone caught dumping a dog in the city limits of Fulton, and possibly South Fulton, if we can work out a deal with them, will be fined $1,000. And I think once this circulates the area, because people dump dogs in Fulton because of me.
Because
I'm
they know you're
serious.
gonna find them a home.
I'm serious.
They
I
don't
am
show their
dead
house.
serious.
Uh-huh.
That coonhound was dumped in Fulton because of me. I picked up its puppies from the owner. He called me to pick up 14 puppies. He told me he didn't want the coonhound, and I said, well, I mean, coonhounds are hard to find homes for. Well, he gave it away, and then he gave it to somebody else. I found out all this, and then it ends up in Fulton. Well, fortunately, we found a home for it. But I just say that if you come up with something stiff enough and get the news out, I think people are gonna think twice about dumping dogs. You know, you might even put in there, rewards, you know.
Returning people in.
Returning people in, you know. $50 reward or something.
But Kirk, let me ask a question in that regard, and I like that idea. I think a lot of the dogs that I see started out as puppies, and then people just left them alone. They didn't dump them, they just ignored them. But what does this have to do with where we shelter them or where we pick them up from?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're
I mean,
talking about.
but
But I'm
the
just
issue-
saying,
The issue in my mind is sheltering them and picking them up, so.
I know, I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay, sorry about that.
I'm getting to that. I got it all right here. My memory is not very good anymore, so I have to write everything down. Well, I'm just kind of, you know, giving you an idea that I think it's more like a molehill than a mountain, this situation in Fulton. I mean, I personally wish I had some more volunteers to help me, but I haven't been able to find anybody, but I think it's all gonna work out.
They dump puppies too.
You know,
There's
I'm thinking only about the dog.
I know you are.
That's it, period. The dog is my concern.
I know.
Okay, let's see what else I wrote down here. Let's see. Okay, if an owner and this has happened, if an owner surrenders his dog to the city of Fulton, okay, they pay a $50 surrender fee. Okay, if they don't pay, or they say they ain't got the money to pay surrender fee, and that dog turns up loose in the city of Fulton, then, and we know who it belongs to, we fine them.
$1,000.
We fine them, I don't know how much, but we fine them. If they don't want to pay that fine, then we add it to their water bill. Now, I know, I have found out this.
I'm glad we can do that.
I have found out this. Other cities do this. Other
Really?
cities do this.
I don't think they're legally doing it.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
You tell us we can do it, we got a lot of things we put on the water bill.
Well, I've done some research on this. That's where I got that. Okay, I mean, that's just a thought.
Yeah.
I kind of threw this one in there. I don't know whether it'll work or not. I think it'd be more problems with police officers. Any outside dogs chained up or something must have a rabies tag. You know, legally, they're supposed to have some kind of a, what is it called?
Is it right?
Rabies
Rabies
tag.
tag.
Rabies?
Yeah,
I mean, you know, they're supposed to.
Yeah.
I think according to our ordinance.
yeah.
These are just kind of some ideas that I came up with. You know, getting back to what Bill wants to know is, Bill, when Hickman, you know, that trouble we had?
Yeah.
I mean, it was pathetic down there. SPCA came in, called CNN News, Fulton and Hickman was trashed because of what went on down there. And, you know, a dog can't be adopted out when he's in Hickman. How am I going? I'm not driving back and forth to Hickman. Right now, the system is working good. I mean, as long as it's working good, I don't see any point in changing. It's not costing the city of Fulton hardly anything to feed those dogs in there because, well, first of all, there's not that many dogs in there, and the dogs that are in there, they're being adopted out. I know that, I mean, I can't.
So you think if we employ an animal control officer with the same system we have right now, and you continue to adopt these dogs out, and we pick up just the ones that are running around, you know, that we're having problems with, you think that
Well,
the
I'm not
system that's
gonna
in
say-
place right now would work? No, I'm all for it if it does.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're doing a great job, but
I don't think all of them are gonna be adopted out. See, right now, you don't have animal control. You don't have that many dogs down there. Now, if it gets overwhelming and there's 6 dogs down there, 8 dogs down there, all I do is take pictures of them and put them on Facebook and stuff and tell this lady in Chicago what I got.
why couldn't we try that then?
More of them will be euthanized. The more, you know, that comes down there, the more we euthanize, because you can't find homes
Pit bulls, no.
for, well, I mean, pit bulls, you know, you can't. I did find homes for 3 pit bulls here in the last 2 months.
I mean, I think you're doing a superb job, and I think if we could employ, you know, a part-time animal control officer that you could work very well with, or you wanted a job, I don't know if that would be a
I don't want a
possibility.
job.
You know, but I mean, if we
I don't
could
mind
do
doing
some
it.
kind of thing where we, you know, if the system's working, if you think the system's working on your
I
side
think
of
the
it,
system's
great.
working right now.
Well, let me just say something about that. In our town meeting, as I recall, one of the major comments by the participants at that town meeting was that we were having an increasing problem with our animals throughout the town. Now, that's what.
I don't see them.
Well, they did though. I guess I'm saying they stood at that, you were there, Kirk, they stood at that meeting and said, we have an increasing problem.
What I'm saying is if we can employ this animal control officer to work with Kirk to fix that problem, we fixed this problem and we can move on like Cubb said.
Well, I remember when Joe, what was his name? Joe and I worked good together because he and I were putting the dogs online and stuff, you know, and you know, we really did do good together. I mean, very few dogs got euthanized.
Yeah.
But now I know what y'all saying about county money and everything, and I don't really know that much about all that. I just know that if the dogs go back to Hickman, I mean, I know y'all are talking about money here, dollars and stuff. But you also gotta consider, I mean, people spend billions of dollars on dogs. And we can't be inhumane and send our dogs to Hickman, Kentucky. That to me is inhumane. I'm not talking about the facilities. I'm talking about a person's dog gets put in Hickman. They don't know where it is. You know, we had that problem before. People could not find their dogs.
Right.
And I don't know what the solution is, but I'm definitely not for those dogs going to Hickman. I mean, it's just inhumane for the dog to have to be shipped to Hickman. You can't adopt them out. We need something in Fulton. Hickman is, you know, they're at the lower end of the world.
That's what you say now, Kirk.
18 miles, or 18 miles.
And nobody, look, you got the river on
Sure,
one
y'all
side
put
of
his
it.
name after that.
The opinions of Kirk are not the opinions of the city of Fulton. Disclaimer.
I mean, I've got tons of friends in Hickman, but I'm just saying.
You may not anymore.
You made this off.
Well,
It's
anyhow.
18 miles.
I-
It's 18 miles Hickman and back. Hickman.
Okay,
36
but I'm just
miles.
saying, on one side of Hickman, you got the river, right?
Right?
Okay, so basically that just leaves 3 sides, right?
Okay,
Okay, we need 4 sides.
okay, okay.
I mean, I don't really know what the solution is. I don't want the dogs to go to Hickman.
Well, I think the facility we have, we need to utilize it. That's my.
I already had a beef with Valarie Minor or whatever over there. I mean, it was a bad situation.
Okay.
And I know if those dogs end up going to Hickman, I won't have anything to do with this. There'll be 200 picketers out here in front of City Hall.
Okay. For me, all right.
But I'm just saying, I'm not trying to bluff y'all or anything.
No.
But it's just not fair to the animals to ship them to Hickman. They won't have a chance to survive.
Okay. Let's see what we can come up with, Kurt. Let's see
All right.
what we can come up with.
Thanks,
Thank
Kirk.
you. Okay. How are we gonna take care of this, guys?
Let's ask for money from Hickman. And then,
We tried it.
From the county.
Apparently we can
Yeah.
get $330 a month, if not more.
You get that.
But we're gonna be spending about 30,000 now, like y'all put in there, just have to keep in mind, we're gonna be hiring a part-timer when we're
I'll
considering.
give you a wild idea. I like Kirk's ideas about the fines, and the drop-off fees, and the $1,000 this, those things that you mentioned. I like those. Let's try that and use the county. And if it doesn't work, then we'll switch. We haven't tried it in a while.
you mean use their
Money.
facility?
Use their county facility, their animal control officer, they're complying with state law. Give them a chance to do it. And incorporate the things that Kirk has talked about in terms of dropping off animals and penalizing those people who do that. Let's do that and try the county. If it doesn't work, I mean, we're not doing this for the next
We
1,000
did
years.
that. We had a lot of people in here every city commission meeting, over and over. Plus, we're using our gasoline and taking our men off the patrol to do. You need to come up and talk, Terry.
What about leasing the facility over to the county, and then we'll have a part-time animal control officer to pick up and take them down the road to the county, be responsible for it.
Then they're not gonna get
I like
adopted.
that
Who's gonna
idea.
get them adopted? Who's gonna see about
Well,
them?
Kirk can still work with the county on it, I'm sure.
He's not gonna drive to Hickman.
I'm sure.
No, if he leases this facility, our facility.
If you leave,
Keep them
I
in
think
our
that's a great idea.
facility.
Let them take care of it, that way the county will have a
But
shelter.
make the
Exactly.
county
That'd be branch number 2.
They can work through Kirk on that.
I like it.
I'm sure they would have them adopted out and pay $40 to take them down.
What do you think, Kirk?
I didn't really understand that.
They had the same pound here, but the county would be controlling putting that.
Well, the dogs wouldn't be going to Hickman?
No.
No,
Oh.
we lease the county our facility, so you
We'll
would do the
have two
same thing.
pounders,
to-
we'll have 2 shelters, one in Hickman and one in Fulton.
Exactly.
Right,
And all the dogs in Hickman stay in Hickman, all the ones in Fulton.
right.
And I'm sure the county will offer to pay you $330 a month for that.
Okay. Well, would you get our letter out for this last year's money that we didn't get
Yeah, let me do that.
before? the
So
end
you
of
think the
year?
county, Bubba, would pay that amount to
We,
basically?
I would say if you ask for that amount to pay the utilities and help the upkeep on that pound and us locate the pound here, so that would ease the pain of the, adopting animals out and sheltering them here, I think that would probably be okay with the court.
But we'd be leasing it to
Leasing,
them,
that'd be
correct?
fine.
So it
Yeah,
would
I
be
think-
their, I mean, they're responsible for meeting all the KRS
That's where the sticker will
requirements,
come, but
and
I'm
they're-
saying you would have to ask for that, because I'm not sure the county would be ready to just jump in and lease it, because then you throw the liability back to us. So, I mean.
Well, my suggestion would be, Kirk seems to think that there is an overwhelming number of citizens here that are willing to come, as you said, to City Hall if need be for these animals. Maybe they need to go to a county meeting and ask the county to follow the statute and have a facility here. I mean, it's the county's responsibility to have these facilities.
Clarify, the
So,
county
and
does
they
not
have a
require to have
facility.
A dog shelter in Fulton. We have
No,
to
they're
have
not
one in
required to
there.
have one here. in
No,
town.
they're not. They're required to have one in the county. But I've always, I'm of the mind frame, and I think Kirk is too, that if the taxpayers' voices speak, and if he can get enough people to go to a county meeting, then you might be able to have a loud enough voice to get the county to do something in the city.
Okay.
You won't find out if you don't have it.
That's right.
We have not got a proposal, and you send us one, we'll consider it. Any of them, all of them.
Don't we have city ordinances
Yeah,
relating to loose dogs, not on the leash?
yeah.
Yes.
Are we enforcing that?
No.
With a.
Not on leash, I guess I don't know.
To the extent that it can be policed by our police officers, I mean, the problem though with some of these ordinances is that the penalties in large respects are fines. And that becomes an administrative problem. One is, once they're fined, then a fine is only good as the person you're asking to pay the fine. And if we are asking people that, one, don't even live here, we fine them, they go back to wherever they're from, that becomes an enforcement problem. The problem is we can fine all day, but if we can't collect it, then we're spending a lot of money on administrative fines that are not collectible. And I just haven't found, and Terry, you may tell me different, but I don't find that the fines are that, I don't think that we get they don't produce the results that maybe they're intended to produce.
No, I don't think that will, to be honest with you. I think that will create more issues down the line.
Mayor, to get us off the dead center, I move that we ask the city manager to work with the appropriate department heads, police chief, public works, and approach the county in terms of the possibility of us leasing our facility to them and approach it that way. And to consider some of the
Things that Kirk said.
the penal
Yeah.
characteristics that Kirk talked about, and come back to the commission with their findings.
That's fine with me.
I've got one more question.
Yes, sir.
I know at Hickman, they do things different. That if they pick up a dog and it's been there 5 days, they make you pay, how much a day? $30 a day? I mean, $30 a week, or whether, $5 or $6 a day or something like that. Well, I guess I'll just have to kind of talk it out with them.
Okay.
I mean, y'all are saying that I can talk with them about it.
Yeah, you, the city manager, y'all work up something that we can go to the county and see if they want to lease this one also.
Okay. Well, we'll wait till then.
Okay.
You'll form that in
I made that motion, you have my motion, sir.
I'll second that motion.
Have you got that, Helen?
I have.
Okay, all right. Bill made a motion, he seconded it, and I guess we're gonna vote. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Long.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller. What was
Yes.
the motion? I can't vote on it till I know the motion again.
For
It was with,
incoming city
repeated.
manager for Cubb to talk with the people in Hickman, possibility of leasing the building, some of the things that Kirk talked about.
Martha, it's basically to ask the city manager to work with Terry and Bubba and Kirk, appropriate people that he deems necessary, to work with the county to see if we can lease our shelter, our facility to the county. And then also to incorporate some of the penal suggestions that Kirk had in terms of dumping off penalties, et cetera, et
Yeah, I've got all
cetera,
that.
into that. And if all that's possible, then I would assume that they're gonna come back with some kind of a proposal, some proposed ordinance or policy that we can act upon at that time.
Okay.
That's my motion. So-
That's what I second.
Okay.
Okay, so Commissioner Vowell
Yes.
and Mayor Forster.
Yes. Okay, first reading of City Ordinance 2012-08, allowing pit bull dogs inside the city limits.
Okay, everyone, I think, has that in front of you. It's ordinance 2012-08, an ordinance of the city of Fulton, Kentucky, amending section 8-5.1 and all applicable subsections of chapter 8 entitled Animals of the City of Fulton. Whereas the mayor and city commission of the city of Fulton has elected in response to overwhelming concerns and requests for certain restrictions and requirements to be placed upon the ownership or harboring of dogs that are deemed to be a threat to the general public. And whereas the mayor and city commission have recognized an increasing risk to public health and safety of the citizens of Fulton as a result of potentially dangerous and vicious dogs within the corporate city limits, and therefore desire to amend the following section for the purpose of regulating and controlling these animals. And now therefore be it hereby ordained by the Board of Commissioners of the City of Fulton, Kentucky, the following chapter 8, section 8-5.1 is hereby revised and amended to read as follows, to wit: restrictions upon the ownership of vicious animals, subsection A. It is widely recognized that potentially dangerous and vicious animals are a serious threat to the safety and welfare of the citizens of the City of Fulton, Kentucky. The City Commission strongly believes that certain restrictions, requirements, and regulations should be established for owning or harboring animals that are deemed to pose a threat to the general public's safety and well-being. The restrictions and requirements for owning or harboring of animals that are defined as vicious shall be as follows. 1. A vicious animal is defined to include: A. Any animal with a propensity, tendency, or disposition to attack, to cause injury to, or to otherwise endanger the safety of human beings or domestic animals. B. Any animal which chases or approaches a person upon the street, sidewalks, or any public place in a menacing fashion or apparent attitude of attack. C. Any animal owned or harbored primarily or in part for the purpose of fighting, or any animal trained for fighting. D. Any animal which attacks a human being or domestic animal without provocation. And or E. Pit bulls, Rottweilers, and any mixed breeds thereof. 1. A pit bull dog means and includes the Staffordshire Bull Terrier breed of dog, the American Staffordshire Terrier breed of dog, the American Pit Bull Terrier breed of dog, and any and all dogs that have the appearance and characteristics of being predominantly of the breed of dogs known as Staffordshire Bull Terrier, American Staffordshire Terrier, or American Pit Bull Terrier, and that conform to the standards established by the American Kennel Club for Staffordshire Bull Terriers, American Staffordshire Terriers, or American Pit Bull Terriers. 2. A Rottweiler means and includes any Rottweiler breed of dog, the Rottie breed of dog, the German Rottweiler breed of dog, the American Rottweiler breed of dog, and all dogs that have the appearance and characteristics of being predominantly of the breeds of dogs known as Rottie, Rottweiler, German Rottweiler, or American Rottweiler, and that conform to the standards established by the American Kennel Club for Rottweilers, Rotties, German Rottweilers, or American Rottweilers. 2. Proper confinement for vicious animals. A. It shall be unlawful for any person to keep or harbor within the city a vicious animal unless it is at all times kept on the owner's or harborer's property, securely contained indoors or in a securely enclosed and locked outdoor pen or shelter suitable to prevent the entry of young children and designed to prevent the animal from escaping. Such pen must have either sides 6 feet high or a secure top. If it has no concrete, cement, or asphalt bottom, the sides must be embedded into the ground no less than 1 foot. All such pens must provide protection from the elements for the animal and be kept in a clean and sanitary condition. B. When any animal is required by the section to be confined, it shall also be required that a conspicuous notice be posted at the place of confinement
of such a nature as to warn the public of the nature of the animal therein confined. 3. Restraint off owner's premises. Vicious animals shall be permitted off the owner's or harborer's property only if such animals are muzzled and restrained by a substantial chain or leash not exceeding 6 feet in length and under the control of a responsible adult at least 18 years of age. The muzzle must be made in a manner that will not cause injury to the animal or interfere with its vision or respiration, but must prevent the animal from biting any person or animal. 4. Other requirements. A. No person under the age of 18 years of age shall be permitted to own, harbor, or handle a vicious dog. B. Owners of vicious animals must provide proof to the city clerk of public liability insurance in the amount of at least $100,000, insuring the owner for any personal injuries inflicted by his or her vicious animal. 4. Enforcement and penalty. A. Authority to enforce this section shall be vested in officers of the Fulton City Police Department and the City of Fulton Animal Control Officers. B. The violation of any provision of this section shall constitute a Class A misdemeanor punishable by a fine up to $500 or imprisonment up to 12 months in the county jail or both. Each day of such violation of this section shall constitute a separate offense. C. Specifically excluded from the provisions of this section shall be the following. 1. Trained service dogs that are actually being used to assist disabled persons, such as dogs for the blind or deaf. 2. A trained service dog that is in the custody of any law enforcement person or agency and that is actually being used to assist in law enforcement. And 3. Licensed veterinary clinics.
First reading. We can remember all that. That's good. Okay. Second reading of City Ordinance 2012-06 to amend City Ordinance 2011-05 and making appropriations for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2011 and ending June 30th, 2012 to reflect actual expenditures and revenues. You're on, David.
Ordinance 2012-06, an ordinance of the City of Fulton, Kentucky, amending City Ordinance 2011-05, making appropriations for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2011 and June 30, 2012 to reflect actual expenditures and revenues. Be it hereby ordained by the Board of Commissioners of the City of Fulton, Kentucky as follows. Section 1, that the amount of appropriations set forth in Ordinance 2011-05 in the amount of $4,312,017 is hereby admitted line by line for a total of $6,035,902. Section 2, revenue set forth in Ordinance 2011-05 in the amount of $5,284,232 is hereby admitted line by line for a total of $6,219,721. This amount includes unappropriated reserves in the amount of $536,000. This amount includes unappropriated reserves of the following: $210,000 from general fund, $284,000 from utility fund, $6,000 from tourism fund, $36,000 from infrastructure improvement fund. Section 2, that this ordinance shall be put before the commission and shall be effective upon its second reading, adoption, and publication as required by law. First reading June 19th, 2012. Second reading none. Claim for
26. Okay, this is the second reading of this amending ordinance. I need a motion to pass. Motion by Jeff. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Bill. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Milliken?
Yes.
Commissioner Freeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Vowell? Yes. Mayor Forrest?
Yes. Second reading of City Ordinance 2012-07, city budget for the fiscal year 2012-2013. You're on, David.
Ordinance 2012-07, an ordinance of the City of Fulton, Kentucky, making appropriations for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2012 and ending June 30, 2013. Whereas KRS 91-303 requires the passage of an appropriation ordinance based on the annual budget. Now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Commissioners of the City of Fulton, Kentucky as follows. Section 1, the amount herein named aggregating $4,077,215 or so much as may be necessary are hereby appropriated from the general fund, utility fund, and municipal aid fund. This budget requires the use of $92,704 unassigned general fund reserve. Under general fund administration, city commission, manager, legal counsel, amount $70,517. Clerk, finance, city hall, $58,359. Under public protection, police department, $613,185. Fire Department, $286,391. Public Works, General Fund, $31,340. Street Department, $105,775. Parks and Cemetery, $73,202. Non-departmental, $565,043. Total in the general fund, $1,803,812. Utility fund, as far as the water department, $652,920. Sewer department, $609,142. Gas department, $956,341. Total utility fund, $2,218,403. Municipal aid road fund, $55,000. Grand total 2012-2013 budget, $4,077,215. Section 2, the budget for the City of Fulton, Kentucky is hereby approved and adopted by the Board of Commissioners. Copies will be available upon publication by request from the Office of the City Manager. Section 3, this ordinance shall be put before the Commission for its first reading and shall become effective upon its second reading, adoption, and publication as required by law. First reading June 19, 2012. Second reading tonight, June 25th, 2012. Elaine Forster.
Okay. I need a motion that we accept the budget for beginning July 1, 2012 and ending June 30th, 2013. I need a motion.
So
Motion by Bill, second by Martha. Call roll, please.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Yes.
Commissioner Milliken?
Yes.
Commissioner Freedman?
Yes.
Commissioner Vowell?
Yes.
Mayor Forte?
Yes. Other business, other from guests. Anybody got anything to say?
Yeah, y'all been talking about dogs?
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening.
Thank you guys for taking time. Anything that I say not to me is all constructive. Nothing I'm gonna say is gonna be destructive. Okay? I want to first start out by saying I'm Henry Minor, business owner of Fulton, Kentucky. Been here all my life. I'm gonna start out by reading a letter I received from the city clerk. And it reads as stated. Dear Henry Dino Minor, we have an outstanding utility bill in the amount of $622.07 that is past due on your rental property at 410 Cedar Street. Our fiscal year ends June the 29th, and we need to settle your account. We have discussed this issue several times, and I have no other choice but to inform you that this bill is not paid in full by June 25th. Your utilities at 108 Jefferson Street, that's where I live, will be turned off for non-payment for the rental property at 410 Cedar Street, and the amount will be turned over to the collection agency. My first question is, what gives you guys the permission to turn off my utilities in my home? Anybody on the commission can answer that question?
I really don't have an answer to that question because the utilities should have been turned off at 410 Cedar Street because that's where the old bill is from. Is that correct? Am I correct on that? Yes. Okay. So there should be no utilities at 410 Cedar Street.
So, okay, so we got that straight. Now, I would like for somebody on the commission board to read me and to everybody in this room, the ordinance in reference to landlords owning property being responsible for water bills.
Because it's still in your name.
The water on that property is in your name.
Now,
You left it in your name.
my question is, I want to hear the city ordinance saying that the water bill, city ordinance y'all come up with saying that the water bill at 410 Cedar Street is in my name. I want to see the ordinance about the landlord paying the bill. That's what I want to see first.
I don't know that there is an ordinance.
It's not necessarily that it's not necessarily that you're the landlord, you know, it is that, it's that you're the property owner.
But, okay, I'm the
And
property-
so, you're, as the property owner, then the bill is in your name unless, as a landlord, you have your tenant come in and put it in their name.
Okay.
That's our general policy. If you have your tenant come in, they will put the bill in their
That's
name.
y'all general policy, okay. I don't live at 410 Cedar Street. I own 410 Cedar Street, okay? I don't have no reason to turn water on at 410 Cedar Street.
It
Now-
was not in our name. it was in someone else's name, and they skipped out. They turned the water on after it had passed city code. We gave them the yellow form to bring down to City Hall for them to turn the water on.
In their name.
In their name. It never once was in our name.
Before they brought the form and put it in their name.
No.
They did not they put it in their name, what month?
3 months later, 3 months
They
later.
put it in their name in September. This went on till August.
Hold on, let me say
The
this here.
inspection is dated May the 31st.
Well, let's say this right here. Let's say this right here. When the home was moved out of the house, what are the city requirements when people move out of a house? The city requirements, I believe, if for them to go and read the meter, lock the meter out, and come back 3 days later and check it again. The meter was not locked out. They might have read the meter, they didn't put locks on the meter.
The meter
So
was
I
locked.
can't stay, hold up, I can't stay up and watch water meters all night long.
Okay. It says in this letter that Kathy Holman moved out of the house on May 16th.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And the water and gas was turned off with lock tag 1860.
Hold up, lock tag,
Mm-hmm.
1860.
Uh-huh. That was the lock tag. The water reading was 63,422 and the gas was 31,64.
Okay, my question is, did I come down there and turn that water on in my name? Do you guys have a receipt where I come down there and pay $20 to have that water turned on in my name?
No, but we do know that you have turned the water on at your business. You called and told the girls you've done it without asking us,
No.
without coming and paying your $20.
We're not talking about the
You have
business,
called and
okay?
said, so we're aware
No,
that you
no.
do turn the water on your
No,
property.
hold on. We're not
Without
talking, hold on.
permission.
We're not talking about my business, okay?
No, we're not.
We're talking about, y'all just bought barrel box, okay? Y'all locked the meat up. I did. We're not talking about Dino's Barbecue. We talking about 410 6th Street. And I think the city didn't do nothing to protect me when the homeowner moved out of the house on the 16th of May. You should have put a lock on the water meter. You put a lock on the gas meter. I know you're required by federal law to put locks on the gas meter. You should put a lock on the water meter.
Hold up. What gets me is, it wasn't in my name. On the 21st of each month, y'all have a turn-off notice.
Yes.
Why was this bill in somebody else's name and it went on so long? And it wasn't in our name. Why wasn't that water turned off? How did it get up to $655?
I think you had a leak, did you not?
Yes, we had a leak.
Y'all came in on the 12th of July.
Yes.
Paid the bill, knowing that it was on, okay, and that these people were living there. Were they not already living there? You had told us they were living there. You came in, you paid $42.93. You didn't say cut it off. They haven't come in. Please cut it off. You didn't say
I
that.
didn't say turn it on either.
But you knew it was on, and you knew they were living
We're
there.
not talking about butts. We're talking
knew it
about the
was on.
issue at hand.
You should have asked us to cut it off.
No, y'all should have done y'all job and locked your meter up. No, it's not funny. This is serious business.
It's not funny.
This
No,
is
it's not.
$622. Y'all trying to make
It
it
was
free.
off when the people moved in, That's all I can tell you. It
That's
was off.
what I'm
You gave me the
saying.
key, you told me to move in, said go put it in your name. That's
No.
your mistake. You should never give them the key.
No.
We gave them the key
We
because
got
it
back
passed
and said it was
inspection.
off.
We gave them the key. Once our house is past code enforcement,
May 31st, 2011.
yes, we
31st.
give them the copy, the yellow sheet, so they could come down here and turn their water on.
They came down in August.
You know, that's not our
That's not
responsibility.
my responsibility.
Yes, ma'am.
Our responsibility is make sure it passes code enforcement and give them the
Right.
form to come down here and turn
But
the water on. But we
but-
never had the water turned on at 14.
You need to follow up though and make sure that your tenant comes down here and actually does that. Because if they don't, until they actually take that step and come in here and transfer the bill into your name, as the property owner, that bill's gonna stay in your name.
No,
I totally disagree.
the city is not doing anything to protect the tax people who pay taxes in this town. Y'all just bought barrel locks and started locking the meters up. A 2-year-old can take that little plastic tag off the meter.
It should not be up to the landlord to come down here and make sure somebody turn their lights on or their water.
Well, because I
don't have to have hold of my hand.
I wouldn't turn it on. If I was the landlord, I would tell my tenant, the water will be on when you go down to the city and put it in your name.
Totally disagree. When you have a code enforcement, He passed the place. You give them this yellow form and say, go down to the city and get your water turned on. I can't follow nobody around, I got too much to do. If they want their water turned on, they need to come down here. It's out of my hand once I give them this form saying it's been passed code enforcement.
Now, one thing that you might consider, Valerie, is that if the water was used and it was billed to you as the landowner and you believe that your tenant should have been responsible for paying that, then I would consider in your shoes looking at making a claim against your tenant for the payment of that water, or if they didn't have permission to use the water at all, then it could be a theft of services situation. In any event, you'd need to either one, speak to an attorney or speak to the county attorney if you wanted to make a claim for theft of services.
But see, hold on, the whole issue is, my question is, what did the city do to protect us?
They turned that water on illegal. It's out of our hands.
It's criminal, and the city...
They left on us money. They turned that water on illegal. We had nothing to do with it.
Who turned the water on?
The people that moved in the house, once the house passed code enforcement, they supposed to came down here and got their water turned on.
Joyce Williams?
Charles Williams, yes.
So Kathy Holman had it cut off on the 16th.
Yes, they had it cut off.
Did it go into your name, or it had no water until?
It shouldn't have been in my name.
Stop. It wasn't in anybody's name. It was totally cut off from the 16th until the 31st when we had the code enforcement thing. Now, was the water on when it went through code enforcement?
No.
There was no water?
No.
So Acres passed the thing. How did it come on in Dino's name after that?
How did it come on in Dino's name? It got red and there was usage.
No.
It was red and it was usage because there was a leak.
I don't know, this is what, there shouldn't have been a leak if the water was off.
So they got three notices saying that they had to leave. 3 notices and left that address.
Okay, well, so how did it get turned back on? What I'm asking is, did Dino call?
No.
It had been rented out.
Okay.
And the person did not come down here apparently.
I understand they didn't come down for 2 months, but if you all did, how did it didn't have any water?
No.
When it went through inspection by Mike Acres?
No.
Okay.
No.
It had electricity.
Okay, in your name?
In my name.
Okay.
Right. We own a house right next door to that house, and we use the water right next door to it.
To clean
up the place. So we did not feel like we need to come down and pay the city when we own the house right next door to it.
And you were waiting on your renter to just, you said go ahead and you turn on the water. So then 2 months later, the renter finally comes down and turns on the water, but yet the renter's been using the water for
2 months. Without our knowledge, because once we give them the paper, we through with it. I just want my rent money.
You can't be through with it there, I understand, I'm a landlord as well, you can never be through with most of your renters, but you gotta keep your eyes on them.
You right about that, but let me ask this question here though. How did the water slip past the cutoff date without the city cutting it off? We pay our bills on time every month. How did it slip by the cutoff date? If I just say, this is hypothetical, if that water was in my name and I didn't pay my bill by the, what day is that?
21st.
If I didn't pay my bill by the 21st, why didn't the city shut my water off? I'm not privileged. Why? They cut off somebody's water just the other day, that was 1 day late.
Or did they say they were coming in, did it get pulled, or did they say they were coming in? I don't know why. I don't
Or
do
were
the
they
cutoff.
using the water
I don't do the
illegally?
cutoff. But I do know, when did they move in, the Joyce Williams person?
They moved in sometime.
It says on August the 4th, she put the
came in August
utilities
the
in
Well, I know
her
she
name.
did that, but when
She
did she
moved
move in?
in June. She moved in June. The Holden moved out in May. We got the place, they moved in
So
June.
they were using the water legally, and so we weren't going by and reading it, because nobody.
No, it got red, it got red.
It got red.
It got red.
It got red when the Holden moved out, okay? Then a whole month passed by. If it was in our name, why didn't the city shut off because we didn't pay the bill?
Because you
Somebody
came
was
in,
late.
you came in
You
on
paid
July
the
12th
bill.
and paid the bill, and knowing that it was on and in your name.
No, to get real
It
about
wasn't in
it.
my name.
To
Well,
get
it's
real
always
about
in
it,
your
hold
name
up, to
when-
get
when
real
water usage
about
is not
this,
red, know it's been here.
Miss Lisa, to get real about this, we were actually helping the city collect the money from them people because they realized that they made a mistake. See, Everything gonna come out now. See, we help them collect money from the Williamses. But, back to the original question, if that water was in my name and I didn't pay my bill by the 21st, why didn't you guys shut it off?
Valarie paid a bill in June for $42.93.
I got this right here.
At that time, 880 gallons had went through that meter, she paid it. I told her then, you need to get these folks in here still in your name.
You know what? It wasn't in my name. It was not in my name. Miss Lee, now you know me and you have talked about
We
this.
talked about
I have stuck my neck out there for a renter and put the water bill in my name. I have learned from that. And they left on $400. Did I not pay it? I paid it. I don't mind playing because they left me. And these people here, I didn't even have the water turned on. I wasn't responsible for it. That $42 that you saying I paid, I don't know why I would have paid it, but
You have enough collection.
I don't know why I would have paid that because I pay all I
Did you have a bill for $42?
I pay all I bill on the 10th of each month. And so apparently it came to me, 14 Cedar Street, we got like 5 bills.
Yeah.
So I just paid it, not looking at what address it was.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have no reason to pay 14 Cedar. So if I paid it in July, I don't know why. But it wasn't in my name.
But personally, I think that, you know, we here, and we all been here all our lives, and I think that, you know, this problem, I mean, this, don't be, we gonna find solutions to this, but I think that you need to really look hard at the services, utilities, especially the water. I know the city done bought barrel locks now, they like to meet up at Dino, because I turned it on, but you can go back and check the receipt, and every time I turned the water on, I gave you guys $20 in my name. Am I correct?
Well, that I don't know. I just
Well,
know
I
they
mean-
told me that you called and said you turned it on yourself.
Yeah, and I came see, we got to find a real true solution to this problem here because it's not fair to me and it's not fair to the city.
Or no,
Y'all went out and bought
landlords.
y'all went out and bought barrel lock, y'all lock the meters up now. This is something should have been done a long time ago. True, it should have been done a long time ago.
Okay.
Dino,
Listen up, Dino.
would you agree that if the, and I don't know if they're willing to do this, my suggestion would be that I would tend to agree with you that our policy is that if it's not paid, it has to be cut off by the 21st.
Yes.
And if yours was not, then,
Because the bill was paid. That's the reason it was not cut off.
well, it either was paid or, I mean, if
the
it
bill
wasn't
was
paid,
paid.
then why are they, if it was paid, why are they owed it?
Why is it $622 if we paid the
The billing cycle stays a month behind.
I understand that, but
She paid the bill in June, it was in July, so it was left on.
How much we paid?
You paid $42.93.
Okay, then
But
what
we've got
happened to
two
the rest?
billing cycles here where
Yeah.
it continued on.
Yeah, the water was on, she knew it. With 880 gallons when she paid the bill.
By the time they paid it,
Yeah, the billing cycle.
this bill had already gone
We
through.
did
It
not-
was done.
listen.
This is through the T.
It's not up to the landlord to make sure that the renters pay their water bill.
If it's
It's
in
not
her
up to
name, if it's in her name, I think it is, but you know, but if you didn't author, I mean,
I understand where you're coming from.
It wasn't in my name.
I think we should.
We did not get it turned on. It wasn't in
Let's hold
my
on
name.
just a second, please. There's too many people talking.
Okay.
David? What were,
Chief has
yes, Chief?
Mayor, send them down to me tomorrow and let me look at this, and we'll go by steps. We'll take a look at it. We'll come back to Helen, come back to Lisa, and then we'll talk to Dino and see what the problem is.
Everybody agree with that?
That way, so if there's a theft or something like that from the occupant of that house, at least we can follow back up on that.
Is that okay with everybody?
Look like this.
Hey, let me ask this question, Miss Joyce Williams,
Yes.
is she still living in Fulton?
No, she
They live
skipped out on
in,
us.
they live in Union City. They skip out on us too.
Oh.
But you know, like Mr. Prater just said, that he asked me the question, did I go down there physically and turn the water on in my name? The answer is no.
you didn't make a phone call to us.
No, no.
On the rental property, they did. One
It goes back.
It goes back into the landlord's name. That's what happened in this case.
Okay, we need to find a way to take it out of the landlord's name. Am I living in the house?
You know what, really, we can talk about this all night.
We're not gonna come to an.
But the only thing we can do, if it's rental property, we need to put barrel locks on everything, every piece of rental property in town that's not.
That's so true.
Is that correct?
You had to remove the meter.
That's so true, because landlords should not be responsible, make sure somebody come down here to turn their water on. It shouldn't be our job.
But when they turn off the dingo, they put a barrel lock on it.
Well,
If we're not convicted either, they break them too.
And it,
That's
he is
not
an
a
operating
cure.
procedure if somebody.
They cut 2 of them off at one house already.
There's no there. If it's in their name, that's just how we collect.
It wasn't in our name, though.
Well, I mean, it reverted back to your name.
Okay, what y'all gonna do about this?
I
You
guess
wanna let Terry work on
I
this?
guess let Terry, because I don't understand how we missed 2 billing cycles here, so someone's gonna have to go back and look into that. I mean, I don't know how we didn't cut off after the 21st.
Just one billing cycle, and water.
This on the 10th.
Well, do you know what I meant by that is,
This bill was already through.
you can't escape the fact that you own the property. Somewhere that's got to stay. You have those rights, those responsibilities. That's what I meant.
I was a landowner for a while, I mean, I was a landlord for a while, but I got out of it.
And see, the thing about it is, okay, she say I paid $42 in the month of July. Okay, yes, although don't nobody live in your place, you still have to pay sewage, school taxes, and this and that. So that's probably what I was doing. I went there paid for knowing that we didn't live there. And they turned it on illegal, I went there.
Okay, y'all go talk to Terry and we'll see what we can come up with. Let's see if we can work this out some way, okay?
Next question, y'all gonna turn my water off?
Because I've been,
Not even in this room. Okay. Everybody. You wanna talk too?
Yeah.
Get on up here, JM.
Got a question for you.
One sentence answer.
You need to sign this.
Okay.
It's like a check.
Yeah, Ms. Lisa, that's a request for us to amend the grant proposal that we
Okay.
had. It's $1,091.25
Okay.
left in the small grant. If you all approve it, this amendment, and we'll notate it in your minutes tonight that you are approving me to purchase one more mobile radio for Terry.
Okay.
We can do that without having to advertise for bid.
Okay. So I have to have an ordinance to do this?
Yes, ma'am. Or approval, whatever.
yeah, municipal.
Yeah.
It would be 2012-89.
And that's the check for the radio? No, sir, that's not the check,
It's
that is
just
the request for the
It's just the
grant.
request, Mr. Bill.
Just check. The check will be in the mail.
Okay.
It will be a direct deposit. If, after we get it sent in, I will request the money and we'll get it ready.
Okay, Municipal Order 2012-89. This is a justification for the request, but the amount of dollars we spent to purchase one more portable radio and enhance our communication capabilities. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I need a motion to that effect.
So moved.
I need a second.
Sorry.
Second by David. Any discussion?
Well, I'm not saying.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Yes.
Commissioner Milliken?
Yes.
Commissioner Prater?
Yes.
Commissioner Vowell?
Yes.
Mayor Foster?
Yes.
You can pay for it, John.
Okay, Lisa can sign that.
And to update you on the big grant, we finally got approval for everything. We're in the process of writing a new RFP for it. And we'll be back to you at your next meeting, hopefully, to present that.
Okay. Thank you.
And this all.
Okay, who's the guy that took away Christmas, y'all?
Yeah,
Come on.
my name is Ebenezer Scrooge. Just kind of let everybody know, we've been on the phone today with tourism and Bubba, myself, Terry, all of us sat around. Spent all last week trying to get insurance to get the fireworks off the ground legally, but unfortunately with the weather the way it is, we're gonna cancel fireworks for this year. I don't want to do that, I feel like I'm stealing Christmas, but it's not safe.
No, it's not.
The burn ban went up today from Judge Gallagher, all over the county, which we had stopped issuing permits in the city last week sometime, so. But anyways, I think they've got the bans canceled.
Benita K called you, is that correct? And she's canceled the band, and she's called the food vendor that was gonna be here, so.
I got the insurance policy stopped today that we were gonna have to take out.
She said to put it in the paper that it's been postponed.
Yeah.
Because it.
Yeah, but they can do it
Potentially
later.
be at a later date.
Right, that's correct.
Potentially. And that's what we talked to the vendor today that sells us the fireworks, and they were willing to work with us, so that, you know, we'll do it some other time.
And any money that's been paid toward that, they'll have a
They'll
credit
still
for
credit
it.
for it.
So,
So that's the best we can do with what we got.
I think that's the best
I don't
thing
think
to
it's
do.
safe.
We don't wanna
We're gonna have
do
enough,
that.
and I'm gonna try to get Terry Rudolph drafted a letter today, a little article that we're gonna put in the paper about fireworks safety and about the situation we're in. I mean, a bottle rocket in a tree right now is enough to get it started.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be really bad.
We can have that.
Just a question, I don't show my ignorance, but all these people that are selling fireworks, what is our responsibility, Chief, you and Terry, with respect to the sale of those items? I mean, and the use of them?
Nothing illegal about the sales of it, but the enforcement of it in the state of Kentucky and due to the burn ban and stuff. If we catch somebody shooting fireworks, we will probably say either bring it to a halt and not, but people here need to understand, if they shoot a bottle rocket up and it catches a house on fire, they're responsible for it.
You know, I think so much we're looking at the KRS, and it's changed over the last little bit on that. I think one of them, and I'm not sure it's there, but we were thinking it was 200 feet within a structure. Well, that's pretty well rules out most everything in town. So they shouldn't be shooting, but unfortunately, we know we'll have that.
Of course.
Thanks again,
And
thanks
we'll
for
just have to
working
put
on
the guys on
this.
standby, because I'm sure we'll have lots of little spot fires.
Thanks, Benny. I do, what's he saying?
No.
Oh, okay.
She was just
Being
having
facetious.
a weak moment.
Well, you're sitting next to her now, you know what's going on. Okay, I have a letter here from Barker Brothers Waste Incorporated. Dear City of Fulton, due to the recent decision to change solid waste vendors with Public Services Incorporated, Barker Brothers Waste would like to thank you for the past years of patronage and loyalty. We have enjoyed and took great pride in being your solid waste provider and working with the residents and businesses in the City of Fulton. Please understand, we would like to make this transition as smooth as possible. Commercial dumpsters will be removed after they are emptied the last regular service day beginning on Monday, June 25th, 2012. Residential carts will be removed after they are serviced on Tuesday, June 26th, 2012. As always, you are welcome to contact our office with any questions or concerns. With best regards, Brian Barker. Okay, we also have, Helen, we have 2 homes that I asked you to send letters to, that 2 burnouts that need to be tore down. Have you heard anything back on that?
No, I didn't know if there was.
Oh, okay. Okay. We've got 2 houses that need to be torn down that have been burned out. So we need to get those taken care of. Let's see. Bubba.
Yes.
Would you give us an update and tell us what street we can drive on?
There's not very many light poles on them.
I know.
We finished pipe bursting today. We did the last street, which is behind Evans Drug, and then just going south of there. So they did the last piece of pipe bursting. They will be on vacation, this company will, the week of the 4th, and they will start paving and resurfacing the street that next Monday. So hopefully we will get all the camera work, the post camera work done will be done the latter part of this week. And then they will be off for the week of the 4th, and then they will seal all the streets back up to our specs, and we'll be done with that project. Other than the manhole rehab, they'll be doing some of those in between.
Okay, who's been paving over here by Turner Dairy?
That's the state of Kentucky.
That's state of Kentucky.
Yeah, that's about $150,000 to our advantage for them.
Okay, would you make sure they're sloping that like we've talked about in previous
They've done
times?
it. Yeah, they build the streets on the curves on both sides, and they set the crown of the street to make it drain, and we'll see if it works right or not.
Okay.
First time it rains, if it ever rains again.
I know Turner Dairy was,
Yes.
has talked about it.
Now, I will say in the state defense, the paving they did will help that, but it won't cure it.
No, it's not gonna cure it, no. it's
Kirk
not.
Gary's gonna have to do some work on their own to finish that project, but what we did, or what the state did, will help that quite a bit.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, all right. I see. Okay, anybody got anything else?
I do.
Yes, sir.
I just want to thank everyone for inviting me to Fulton. Tell everyone how much I enjoyed working with them and looking forward to the progress, to watching the progress that we've started this year continue on, because I think we did make progress this year, and Fulton is a great place, and I wish everyone luck. Great luck.
We want to thank you and wish you luck, whatever adventure you go on now. I don't know.
I'm going to the beach.
You're going to the beach. Yes, sir.
A couple of questions. I would like for us to put on the calendar the date for our next town meeting. I keep hearing, Elaine, we're gonna do it.
I know, I'm getting a calendar, I didn't bring my calendar tonight.
I have one.
Okay.
I'd like to get it on the calendar.
Okay.
What day are you thinking?
I'm thinking early in July. We passed the budget, and I'd like to do that.
What day?
She's got my calendar. I would say.
We've got
Do you have a
July.
little black book?
This is his little black book. I'm not gonna look at your book at this. We got, if you wanna do it on a Monday, you got the 2nd, the 9th, the 16th. Is anybody gonna be gone next month?
Oh,
I'm looking at Monday,
The
Mondays.
second is booked.
The
Well,
2nd is booked,
Let's do the
okay?
9th of July.
9th of July.
Again, same place, and
Yeah.
Can we get signs again, like who? I
If
think
we get-
Yeah, we
Steve
still
did
have-
that
yeah,
before,
we
but
still
that
have
was
to-
really
we
neat,
still have
and
the
the paper was
signs.
kind enough to support that. I thought it was a super meeting, and we promised to follow up with.
They gave us a free ad too, didn't they?
I think they did. Thanks to Benita, she did.
July.
9th.
What time?
What time?
6.
5? Everybody get off from work? It won't last long? Oh, we gotta wait till 5:30.
Exactly.
We gotta wait till 5:30. Is that okay with you, Jeff?
Oh, I'll be fashionably late, but I'll be there. 5:30?
Oh, you wanna do 5:30 or 5:45?
Yeah, doesn't matter. I don't usually roll out till 5:36 anyway.
That's a good one.
And the purpose is to what? What's the purpose of this town hall meeting?
Update.
It's an update to follow up to our first meeting.
Okay.
First meeting we had with Anita, we promised them that we would take that information that they gave us, we'd act upon it one way or the other, and then we would have another town meeting to tell them what we did. And that's the purpose of this town meeting. While we're on town meetings, I would surely hope that we'd have them more frequently. I think they're good things to do, and I think we ought to do them periodically to find out what the citizens want. The other thing I had on my list, Mayor, is that I'd like to ask, are we doing anything yet with the establishment of a committee for the long-range planning effort?
Not yet, but we,
I've
that's
started
I
the
would like-
strategic planning ordinance.
Good, that's all I want to know. I think
Maybe
this
we
ought,
could ask for volunteers at this meeting.
I think it ought to be a collaborative effort to put that committee together, because I think it's going to be a key. And I think we have to give some thought to the types of expertise that serve on that committee. That's my view. And then the last thing I have, so you're working on North. And I'd like to thank Steve myself. Steve, you've made a difference. Like I said, not too long ago, we came here, we didn't know you, and you didn't know us, and you've really made a difference, and I just want to thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate it very much.
Like I said, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed being here. And I'll look forward to visiting soon.
Well, let's give him a hand here, y'all.
motion to adjourn.